All right. Welcome to tonight's Creating Health Now. Really my pleasure to be on this conversation with you all, or if you will, this meeting across the country. We have people from all over the nation that are joining us tonight. And I was inspired this last week as we wrapped up a team huddle with all of these participants from the 28-day team challenge that's been going on around the country. And what that's been about is that a lot of people are stepping up and saying that they don't want to just do another diet. They don't want to just do another type of fitness program, but they actually want to create a healthier life for themselves, one with purpose and meaning. And in this group and in this team that I've been on myself, I've been able to make some transformation in ways that I did not expect, and in such a way that I wanted to share with everyone tonight. There's a couple things that I learned just about myself through being on a team. And it's been a long time since I've actually been on, if you will, like a sports team, if you will, or been on a work team. I've been self-employed. I've owned my own company for probably, oh my goodness, 17 years now. So I kind of forgot what it's like to even be a part of that aspect. But one of the things through this team challenge that I learned about is the power of team. Now, we've maybe heard the acronym, Together, Everyone Achieves More. And that's what team has meant to me, is there's been so much more for me. And I don't mean just about weight loss. You know, I've had some really great results in that regard over the last 4 weeks on this team. I don't mean just more energy in that. I'm talking about connectedness, feeling closer to people in a way that I didn't know I could get. Someone made a post on Facebook just the other day about how people are kind of getting more insensitive nowadays, how people are, just in their own world, in their own zone. I also had someone made a comment about some chat group that they were on where people were complaining about their coach or their health coach, and mine doesn't do this or mine doesn't do that. And they were asking me, what do you think about that? And I started thinking that there's definitely a need everywhere for there to be more light, more beacons, more lighthouses of hope around. And I thought, why not me? Why not you? The guy who, what's his name? Russell Wilson, who was the quarterback for the Seahawks. He stood up there and they asked him, Russ, what do you attribute your success to? And he says, why not us? Why not us? That's something his dad taught him before he passed away. And I started asking myself this question, why don't I start a movement across the country? And I started thinking, well, why would I want to? Instead of the why not, why would I want to? Not why should I, but why do I absolutely want to make a significant impact that's measurable in a way that has nothing to do with making money, in a way that has nothing to do with just having abdominal muscles that everybody can see, but in a way that actually leaves a lot more hope, a lot more health, and a lot more people living the life that they actually really, really wish they would have lived. I saw a movie once with Robin Williams, and he said, you should do what you wish. Because a lot of people wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have done that. And he says, why don't you do what you wish? And I was talking to a friend of mine, Scott Edwards, who happens to be on this call, and I'm not sure what day it was, but it might have been yesterday, it could have been today. It's a blur because I get a chance to interface and just connect with so many people. And we were talking about creating the hope and the vision for what's possible. And Scott was sharing with me, sometimes it's hard to really dream and to get that clarity, to get that vision. And I said, Scott, something I've learned that's changed my life is to imagine you're taking your last few breaths on this earth. And literally, you're sucking in those last few breaths, and there aren't going to be any more in just a few seconds or a few minutes. And right when that's happening, I want you to imagine that your life flashes before your eyes. And the first question I want you to ask is, the life that's flashing before your eyes, is it worth watching? Is the highlight reel that you're seeing the one you were hoping to see? And if there's some things missing on that highlight reel, some things that you wish were on that highlight reel, maybe those are the things that you might want to add into what you're going to move forward. And I started asking myself this question, if I was playing back that movie before my life, who are the people, what are the places, what are the things that I would have said if I got to say them all over again? Or what are the things that I would repeat in my life that I had experienced? What is it that I haven't even done, accomplished, or been a part of that I'm sitting there going, why not me? Why was I not about that kind of business? And I don't mean work business. I'm talking about where you spend your time. It seems like so many of us are busy being busy. How you doing? Busy. Yeah, I got a lot going on. And the question you have to ask yourself is, all that stuff that's going on in your life really going on? I'm talking about like where you flip the switch and you're turned on. Like where you feel like you're having that chance where it's one life and you're having that one meeting. And this conversation right now is kind of like one of those conversations where as if it was the last conversation I was ever going to have with you, I think this is the kind of conversation I'd want to have. That one that asks us to ask ourselves, what's my purpose? Because a lot of people are talking about making change in their life. I'm not happy with the way I look. I'm not happy with the way I feel. I don't like the way I'm living. And so I got to change some things. And I talked to this amazing keynote speaker, thought leader, transformation expert by the name of Mark Payan. And he's going to be coming up here into the Portland area to do some talking and speaking up here. And I'm looking forward to introducing him to some people. But this is unrelated to this conversation. Just happened to be that we got introduced today on Zoom. A phenomenal guy. This is Zoom, by the way, for those of you who don't know. And we were talking, and he said to me, Alex, a lot of people are talking about change. He goes, you know what? But change isn't where it's at. Change is a constant. It's always part of our life. He goes, I changed my shirt today. I'm changing where I live. I'm changing, different things. I'm changing the food I'm eating. Where we want to basically start to look towards is transformation. Truly making a transformation. Transformation is about what's your purpose? What do you stand for? And when you talk about transformation, purpose, what you stand for, you have to almost in a way throw out the emotions for a moment. Because it's so easy to let emotions and feelings drive what it is that we decide we're going to do in a day. I mean, let me ask you this question. Have you ever woke up in the morning where you just don't feel like it? And whatever it is for you. I know that there's days where I don't feel like getting out of that bed, right? But what compels me to get out? And for most people, the sad fact of the reason why they get out of bed is because they get fired if they don't. That's their motivation, is I'll lose my job. Or my motivation is I won't, I'll be in trouble with my boss, or my kids will be late for school. And if your reason is a negative consequence for why you get up, I could see why you'd want to bury your head and stay under that warm, cozy cover of the darkness in that little den. But flip the script. Again, back to flipping the switch as I showed you before. And what charges you up? What fills you up? What are you moving towards? What are you looking for? And it's interesting as I think about these questions, if I was having that last conversation with you, I would hope that when you spoke and when you shared with me, you'd share with me your heart, your fire, the things that you're truly connected to. And if you haven't found those things, I'm talking about the stuff that really you get excited about. Someone tried to teach me a long time ago about vision boards and finding, the things that get you going. And the first way they tried to teach it to me was showing me a bunch of mansions and a bunch of yachts and a bunch of island vacation travels. And I was like, ooh, that looked exciting. But for some reason, it never really compelled me. It never really drove me. I still made the same choices, did the same things that I always did. And I couldn't quite figure out. I did the vision board. I cut out the magazines. I bought the Forbes magazine and all the stuff and put the Ferrari on a piece of paper. This is me as a young man doing this kind of stuff. But something was missing. There wasn't that connectedness for me. And I didn't know that. In hindsight, I can tell you that I just hadn't really found that purpose and that meaning. Well, I'll tell you what, when I get out of bed in the morning, it's for stuff like this. That right there drives me to be able to have that time with that little guy who's now 7 years old. I'll never get that moment right there back again when I could just throw him up in the air like that and see him soar. And he's so free and so happy. He's still got that great spirit. And when I see him today, I just kind of go, wow, that's my heart running around outside of my body. That gets me up in the morning. I don't even need an alarm clock anymore nowadays. Seriously, I just wake up. Why I go to bed early, why I go to bed at 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night for the most part is, and I know there's days where I have to do a little extra work because of that same reason I just showed you. But why I go to bed a little early is not because I don't like Netflix or not because I don't like certain TV shows, because I know that I'm not going to feel the energy and the drive and the passion if my energy and my physiology is not working for me. So the question really boils down to, do we make choices and decisions based on feeling alone, or do we make transformational change based on purpose? What really matters to us and what compels us to do what most people won't do? And we talk about success. We talk about why are certain people successful and certain people not. And you may have heard it said, this truth, that successful people do what unsuccessful people won't do. They put the time into things that actually move them forward towards what they want to create, regardless of how they feel. We're so caught up in how I want to feel. And the question I have, which I've had a lot, but building up to this question is, as a coach, not just a health coach, but as a friend, as a support, as somebody to be there together, is your goal that your coach or your mentor, the people you choose to help you get what you want, is your goal to be around them so they can help you to feel good? Or is your goal that they would actually help you personally grow and move towards what you want to create? And I had somebody ask me the other day as we were having this kind of epic conversation, this one meeting, one life. It's called Ichigo Ichie. It's a saying. It means if we only had one conversation, what would we say? What would we talk about? We were having this kind of a conversation, and I asked her, she was a gal in Louisiana, I said, do you want me to make you feel real comfortable right now, or do you want me to help you personally grow and break through? And her response was, why can't we do both? And I started laughing because I said, because right now, this isn't going to feel good, but I've got something for you that I really believe will help you grow. And when you surround yourself with mentors and friends who will tell you the truth, even though it's uncomfortable, get close enough to them, build a big enough emotional bank account so there's enough deposits in that emotional bank account in that relationship so they can tell you the truth from time to time. You know what I mean? So they can really level with you and tell you the hard stuff that's going to move you forward. Another thing I learned from this gentleman by the name of Mark Payan is there's no such thing as harder. There's only hard. See, when you see somebody out there doing push-ups and doing the thing where they jump up and clap their hands 2 or 3 times, or you see somebody doing a pull-up on some monkey bar and then picking themselves up on top of that bar, and you think, wow, that's harder than this other person over here who's just doing a basic knee push-up from their knees. And that's not true. If that person is deconditioned, that could be just as hard for them as that elite level athlete trying to do that crazy plyometric push-up or that gymnastic movement. Does that make sense? It's all hard. All of us have hard in our life. Because anybody who's going to excel to the next level in life, whether this is trying to get down to your healthy weight, live a longer, healthier life, whether it's financial success, be careful there, Alex, but whether that's financial success, whether that's freedom, whatever it is, it's all hard if you're going to push yourself out of your comfort zone. See, this is your comfort zone right here, but this is where the magic happens. And there's a difference. And that space in between those two places where the magic happens is personal growth. So here's my encouragement tonight. Creating health now is about this, starting to get healthy. And my hope is that in this conversation that we've had tonight, this heart-to-heart, because I believe that you were invited to this meeting, because I invited each person on this meeting personally, because I thought there's something about you that I believe in. And I think there's something about me that you believe. And you're here not for me. You're here for you. You're here because we have a common purpose and a belief to be better. We believe in greatness. We believe in amazing. We don't believe in status quo. We don't believe in settling for complacency or living the caged life. We believe in breaking free to that full potential we were created and called to be. And so as I share this and as I say this, I want to encourage you to stay connected to people and opportunities and environments that allow breakthroughs. I'm hoping this is a breakthrough conversation that you'll continue on with me and maybe get to know some of the other people on this chat we're having tonight, or this conversation that I'm starting. And I'd like to keep this conversation going. I've committed to have this conversation. I'm going to pick a time. I think it's going to be sometime between 7 and 8 o'clock Pacific time on this night. I may change the night, but I'm going to check in with you to find out when and where it makes the most sense. And then I'm going to ask that as this conversation continues and as we personally grow together and we move forward into the lives that we want to create, that maybe you would take this and you might do this with another group of people that I don't even know. Your other circle, the other people that you care about and that you love. And maybe you'll invite more people. My hope is that we'll grow this to a point where there's just too many of us and we've got to split it into 2, maybe 3 of these conversations. And that this conversation wouldn't be in vain. That it wouldn't be just words that sounded wise and they were flowery and they made you feel good like you were in the jacuzzi for a moment, but that you would go out of the jacuzzi and you would go into the world and you would say to people, we can do this. Do what? Live. Not exist, live, like fully be alive. Be aware that we're actually having a conversation right now. That's an amazing thing about being a human being, is we actually know we're having a conversation. And we know that we're having a conversation for a particular reason, for a purpose and a meaning. And so with that said, it is my call and is my sincere hope that we will literally become each other's support system, each other's support structure, knowing that there's going to be times that we're down, knowing that tomorrow, maybe even tonight, as we leave this environment, there's going to be stuff in our life and triggers and patterns that we've been taught and conditioned from mothers, fathers, teachers, and preachers. We've been told how to act and how to react, how to behave, and how to be. And this isn't some kind of rebellious conversation I'm having, but it is a conversation that asks you and challenges, is what you were taught, is it relevant now? Was that old belief system that you were taught, does it align with what you're looking to move into now in your life? And you wonder why it's hard to change. It's hard to change sometimes because we're using old belief systems from the past that don't seem to make sense for what we're looking to create moving forward. I love you all, and I absolutely am happy to be here with you and existing in this time right now. And I'm not looking forward to any weekend day. There's no vacation I want to escape to in my life. I am happy with where I am to be right here at this very moment. There's a lot of things I could be doing in my life right now. There's a lot of things you could be doing in your life right now. But for some reason, we chose to spend this moment that we'll never get back ever again with each other on this meeting that's happening right now. Well, I love you with all sincerity and with all truth. And I thank God for the life that I have in me. And I want you to know that I want this conversation to continue. So with that said, I want to wish you all a good night, and I will be following up with you to see if you would like to keep this going. All right? I'd love to hear from you all about what you got out of this and what this has meant for you. And just please send me an email, send me feedback. All right. I love you all, and we'll talk to you soon.